Hello, so this is the shielded Nerud Engineer. I will also give a lot of basic information about the Engineer class at level 10, plus some tips how to use it efficiently, and then we'll just go into the build itself. It's good for, well, I think it's also good for Apocalypse as well, but it's definitely more than enough for Nightmare. I'm also kind of doubling down on the defenses, so it's more of a defensive build, but it can get the job done. As for the secondary archetype, well, it's the Gunslinger mostly because it's a lot more utility, but you can also add the Challenger. Now, if you just want to see the build, let me quickly mouse over them. Or you can just go into the timestamps, where I will explain more and I'll actually show this. So what are the bonuses for the Engineer at level 10? Well, they're actually pretty sizable. The Metal Worker is not so important for my build, but as you can see, we're just upgrading the heavy weapons more and more. Magnetic field is kind of important because if you stand close to the turret, you get 15% damage reduction, which is great. Mobility is not so important. Surplus, more or less important but not useful. And then we have three types of turrets. Basically, the Vulcan is a minigun turret. This one is a Flamer turret, which will shoot fireballs that deal AoE damage and burn enemies. This is kind of like, well, it's hard to explain. As a turret, it's a thing that just stomps the ground and attacks in an AoE around it. So it's great for clearing small rooms or, you know, using it as a backup point, but it cannot shoot at a distance. Plus, if you pick it up, it's a rail gun. It's a rail gun, a rail cannon more, to be honest, more. And this will give it more armor. Increases your armor. Now, I try to use the let off set, it doesn't work. The let off set is not viable in this game because you need to dodge, run, you need to hide behind the corner. You also cannot do enough to prevent the staggers. So even if you use the Challenger skill to prevent the staggers, and even if you use items that are very, very defensive, you'll still get hit, and most of the times for boss fights or elites, you're going to die anyway. So let's go over the basic things. You press Q to put the turret down. You press E to pick it up. Double tap Q to put it in your inventory again, basically. You do lose 25% ammo if you just take it out and put it back in. The blue little bar means it's ammo. Also pick it up in your hands. Also very important, probably not a lot of people have noticed it, but if you press and hold Q, you'll overclock it. And you'll get infinite ammo, which is great. Also, it does the same thing if you pick it up and press and hold Q. You cannot dodge roll, but you did this weird little step. You're also pretty fast when you have the turret, so I guess the basic gameplay rule is to pick up the turret and run away if you feel like you're in trouble. Well, I think that's the basic turret, so let's switch to the other one. To be honest, the flaming turret is not as useful because you'll never be attacked by 100 enemies, or you'll never be attacked by, how should I put it, the force so numerous that you'll need the AoE. Besides, you're also shooting the enemy, keep that in mind. So yeah, that turret is much better because that turret has so much range. Okay, calm down. Let's put you over here on the table. As you can see, it's a pretty sizable amount of damage when it shoots like that, but sadly... Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Sadly, the damage it deals is not well enough. I mean, it seems like it's dealing a lot of damage, but it's not. I love this so much. Okay, now let's go to the last turret type. And this is the fun one. I think that the developers kind of nerfed the last level of the turret, but I understand what they're going for. They didn't want the turrets to do most of the job and you just standing there. I mean, it's already pretty powerful. Every turret is very, very powerful in its own right, and they are definitely designed for special situations. cannot overload this one? Weird. Okay. Or at least not in this case. Come on, let's go home. Also, one fact, you cannot use healing while you have the turret in your hand, so you cannot use the heart. 700 damage. Plus, it also will go through enemies. Oh, come on. This is so silly. See? It goes through all of the enemies. I'm not sure if you can hit all of them, but I think it can hit all of them. And it doesn't take reduced damage, so it's great for small rooms. But even more than that, you can overclock it. Just does more damage. Probably has a lower cooldown between shots. Diverter. 10% critical chance and 50% to all damage dealt. By the way, when it says 50% to all damage dealt, that means it also buffs the turrets. Yeah. It works like that because I tested it on the field, on the training field, and it works. Power saver. At max health you have a 25% chance to not use a relic slot. So that basically means, because we're using the shielded heart, that basically means we'll probably have about 10 to 12 charges instead of 7. Well, we have 7, but that will definitely increase them. So, oh yeah. Just make sure you're using it when you're full health. If not, well, I guess you can replace this with this one, just because it will give you more speed when you're sprinting, but also reduce your stagger level. Or you can use this if you want more defensive. I don't know, it's up to you. I just like to use this one because it's good for boss fights, but generally I will use the momentum driver. Again, it's up to you. Encrypted ring. This is a bit of an overpowered thing because it's not balanced. The game is not balanced at all. That triggers the regeneration. So basically all I have to do to trigger 30% regeneration is use my mod gun. I will get to that in a minute. And 30% regeneration over 30 seconds. Man, that's a strong kill. Activating a skill grants a shield for 25% of max health, cannot stack with itself, lasts for 10 seconds. This one is kind of a waste in a way because it cannot stack with this one, at least I don't believe it. Or maybe it stacks, I'm not sure, because you have no way of seeing how much shield you have, so again, not confirmed, but more or less this is for utility, since you don't want to be using your hearts all the time, but it works exactly as you expect it to work. Very good. Also you have the low yield recovery ring, so as you can see, killing an enemy regenerates your health. So you can have max 30 seconds, so that means 6 stacks, which means 30% health. 30% health. You kind of get the idea, right? So you basically have 60% regeneration over, let's say, 10 seconds or more than that. Anyway, it depends on how you play the game, because you also have... Let's go to the trait now. I have Spirit, Expertise, but also Siphoner, level 10. I just love Nerud. Also, you might want to increase your health to max. I don't know why I'm not increasing it. I should probably increase it as well. Also, you have these, of course. So this handles the trinket part of the game. Now let's go to the heart. Like I said, I like the shielded heart a lot, but you can also, if you feel like you're doing okay, you can replace it with the crystal heart, which also reduces damage, but it's a heal over time. Again, up to personal preferences, but you don't want to have too much, you know, regeneration, all of that stuff. So yeah, let's use this another way. Here I'm using the Nebula because the Nebula is great with the corroded effect and all of the other stuff. As you can see, this is only level 0 because I didn't have materials to upgrade it, but if you upgrade it, this will be even much more destructive than that. And over here I'm just using this because I can generate mod power and also get some ammo if I just do a normal hit with it, but it can be whatever you like, doesn't matter. And here is the discussion. The pulse rifle, it's a long gun. It's a burst weapon, meaning you fire once, it fires 3 shots, so it's a semi-automatic, but if you use, of course, the bullet storm, it will fire automatically. Plus, this last 20 seconds has a and then it will go into a cooldown. The funny thing about this is that the reload speed being so high and you're shooting so fast, it's almost like a minigun. It really benefits from that bonus. Again, it can be other stuff, whatever you like, but I don't want to play very defensive. The Deadly Calm will only be useful at level 10, but it's also pretty useful now because most of the time you'll just be aiming your gun. And the big discussion is over here with the Stasis Beam. The Stasis Beam is super useful, as you can see, for activating the heal, but also you can basically slow every enemy down, and slow means slower movement speed, but also slower attack animations, and after a few seconds, 2 seconds, it will become frozen. It can affect some elites. I think it can affect almost all the elites. Maybe there are some of them that are immune to it, cannot confirm because I didn't play in the other areas. And it generates its mods very fast. Also against bosses it might be useless, but as you can see it also does a little bit of extra damage. 30 damage per second, it's per second, not per shot, so you might want to replace it. So if you want to replace the Stasis Beam with something else, of course you can go with the Boar. Or the Overflow is another great idea, plus also the Prismatic Driver. Actually no, I like more the other one. Wait, what is my other mod? I don't think I have it equipped in another one. Sorry about that. I think I had another mod, but I guess I don't have it. I guess it's from... okay, never mind. It's probably a mod that another weapon had. Big Bang. Okay, so what does this all mean? Well, in essence, it means you can just make the enemies set. I mean, you can basically freeze the enemies and also stun the elites for 10 seconds and it will be great. Let's just use it. I think I've spoken too much about it. Okay, what is it? Oh. As you can see, that was pretty useful, and you can also micromanage the enemies, so you can basically slow all of them or some of them. If there is an enemy you don't want to fight you can also freeze them in the stasis or just kill them outright. You have so many options with this build. Nah, I cannot detail the build a lot more than this. But you'll definitely get to see it a lot more in other videos where I kill bosses from Blossom. So yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.